So there's something I wanted to address. When I released a video recently on one of my YouTube channels talking about how I found this image that you see here in front of you of this little girl on the right hand side, and there's these 4 frames of the same guy wearing a bandana over his face and looking over at the little girl. It's very creepy. I found this frame hidden in a video that was made by Ze Frank. So you can see right here, that was Ze Frank, and you even just saw a flash of the clip in the video itself. So that's him. The video is called Projector. You can see right here. He released it 12 years ago, back in 2012. It's a part of his series called A Show with Ze Frank. And some people left some comments on the video that I wanted to address those comments just for any other people who might be viewing this and going like, well, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's abusing children. They said some things like, I'm sure it was just done for, funny purposes. That was considered to be funny back in those days on YouTube. That's funny. That's what's funny, is that suggestion. So I'm going to tell you right now, first of all, I'm 40 years old. I've been around since before the internet was invented. I have seen its birth. I have seen the many stages that it's gone through up to now, 2024. And I can tell you that it was never considered to be funny as far as I ever saw. And back when this video Projector was released in 2012, I was in my early 20s, or I'm sorry, my late 20s. I was about 28, 29 years old. And I had my finger pretty firmly on the pulse of what was considered to be cool and popular and funny on social media, on the internet, and in society in general. And this was never funny. This was never considered to be funny to have strange pictures of little girls hidden in your videos. And when I say hidden, I mean this was a flash frame. This image right here you're looking at just popped up for a second and then went away. For any of you who've ever watched Fight Club, that's what Tyler Durden used to do, right? When he would split videos for movie theaters, he would split little images of, pornography into the images, and you would see it flash up just for a second, just long enough so that you kind of know that what you just saw, but you're kind of questioning too, like, did I see that? That's what I mean by a flash frame. This was a flash frame. It is a flash frame. Still out there in a video that's still out there on YouTube called Projector, made by this guy, Ze Frank, who you're looking at right now. This was never considered to be cool or funny, maybe it's a little creative, but if he wanted to hide frames in his videos, there are all sorts of different frames he could have hidden in there. Why did he have to hide a picture of a little girl? Right? Why did he feel the need to hide that? And not just a picture of a little girl, but a picture of a little girl with a guy next to her hiding his face with a bandana, looking kind of creepy. This just gives me bad feelings. Anybody who's got good gut instincts is going to look at this picture and go, this feels wrong. This feels weird. This feels like this image it's not a good image. It's not a family-friendly image. So yeah, this is the fact that Ze Frank went out of his way to insert this into his video, and yes, he did do that. That's another thing I wanted to address. So one thing that they mentioned is, see, you can see right there. Look again. Ready? I'm going to just put my pointing arrow over top of the video, and watch, you'll see it flash up. See? That's how fast it flashes up and goes away. But make note of when it flashes up. So this is the beginning of the video. It's starting from the beginning. See that duck? That little duck on a gray background screen that you're seeing where it says A Show with Ze Frank. That's the typical opening clip for his videos. He developed that clip. He started inserting it as the opening of these the videos in this series. I want to say there are like well over 100 videos for this series. Okay. For some of the videos, he would play it in the beginning and at the end. All right. So it's kind of just an opener. You guys have all seen videos on YouTube on well-established channels where they have a typical opening sequence that they start pretty much every video with. This one is Ze Frank's, at least for this series. All right. So at this point, this particular video, let's pull it up really quickly and see which number. Let's see which number it is. So this particular video is number, I'm not sure. It's roughly going to be, yep, let's just do this. A show with Ze Frank. What I'm looking for is a playlist. It's usually in a playlist. I just saw one for the show. Playlists. Let's see if it's under playlists. A show. Here it is. Oh. So you can see there, you just saw the opening credits little screen there. And it's in his very first video on this, for this series. So let's scroll down. Here we go. So here's a list of all the videos as they were released in this series, and we're going to scroll down to Projector. Here it is. So Projector is number 51. It's the 51st video that was released in this series. So he had pretty well established, and I think I want to say there are, even though it's only scrolling down to 68, number 68, there's like 100. There are at least 100. I've already counted because I had to go through all of these looking for certain clips. And I remember making note of like, oh, how many do I have to go through? And it was up around 100. So this is at the point that we have Projector in this series, number 51, right here. And you just saw it flash up again, this picture. So it's already a well-established series. He's already put out about 50 videos for the series. He's already established that clip. He already had it established for the very first episode. That clip for anybody who's ever edited a video together or several videos together, I know I have at this point, you might have a specific clip, like an opening clip or a closing clip, that you will just have set aside. You've already developed it. You've perfected it. It looks exactly the way you want it to look, and you just set it aside and you insert it into the video in either before or after the content as you see fit. You don't mess with it, unless you mean to mess with it. So you can see in his other videos, his previous videos, let's just go to we'll go to the first one. We're going to have to... No, I don't want to sit through any of that nonsense. Let's see if we can do this without... Oh, no. I'm going to mute this. And we'll just play through it. And while it plays through, I will scroll down here and wait for it to stop. Okay, there we go. See? Did you see any images flash up during that clip? I didn't. That was the second video. Let's go to the first video. First video. Oh, there it is again. I didn't see any images. I could be wrong. It could be so fast that I'm not catching it with the naked eye. But, so here's the opening clip right here. Here's the basic image of it. Playing again. No, I didn't see anything flash up. I didn't see it in the second one either. How about special effects? Oh, I didn't see anything there either. So this is an established clip. Do you understand what I'm saying? That opening sequence right there, that is an established clip. He developed it. He established it. It should be just a little video clip set aside that he can now insert into all of his videos once he's done putting together the main content. All right? He just has to copy, paste, or insert. It depends on what the video editing software he's using. He just has to insert it into the overall video. All right. Now, and there was no reason for him to mess with it unless he wanted to, unless he wanted to add something to it. So you can see if we pull up the projector video down here, number 51. Yep, there you go. That's inserted into the clip. It's inserted into his opening clip. See? So he did that on purpose. By the way, I also wanted to point out, this is in 2012. As far as I can recall, AI was not a thing back then. AI is a recent invention as of the last few years. If AI was around back in 2012, it was not nearly developed enough for people to be suggesting anything like maybe AI inserted it into the video. No, AI did not insert this into the video. All right? At least not into a 2012 video on YouTube. Whoever edited this video together, and my money's on Ze Frank. This is his video series. These are not very long videos. They're all an average of about, 3.5 minutes, right? He likely did most, if not all, the editing himself. If, however, I also wanted to point this out, if by chance he did not edit these videos together himself completely, maybe he had an intern do some of the editing, maybe his wife helped him do some of the editing. Here's the thing, though. This is his baby. This whole channel is his baby. This series is his baby. His name is all over it. You can see right here, it says Ze Frank, a show with Ze Frank. How much you want to bet, even if he didn't do the editing for this video, he sat down and made sure to do a preview of the video, probably a few previews of the video before he finally released it onto YouTube. This is just par for the course for anybody putting together a video. Any director, there are directors out there. They will film videos. They will film big feature length movies out there. Feature film, 2-hour movies. Who maybe they don't do all the editing themselves. They hire people to help them with the editing for the movie. But you can bet your tushy that they are sitting down before they release their final project, their baby, into the society to be judged. They are sitting down and they are watching the final product. Not just once, probably at least 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times. Because they want to make sure it's perfect, or it's as close to perfect as they can make it. All right? I don't see why Ze Frank would be any different. So again, even if Ze Frank isn't editing this video together himself, which I do think he is anyway, even if he isn't, you can bet your tushy that he sat down and previewed the final product before it was released on YouTube. And he likely previewed it more than once. Another thing I want you to keep in mind, that if he did edit it, again, speaking as somebody who has edited together many videos at this point, something that you do, for those of you who aren't aware, who have never had to edit together a video, something you do when you're editing a video together, when you're making a video, putting it together, you replay it so many times, so many times, over and over and over again. Every little part of it. Why? Because you're looking for flaws. You're looking for things that you can improve on. You're looking for anything that might be like not quite smooth enough for you. Anything. This is just the creative process of making something, particularly a video. So yeah, I'm sure anybody out there who's ever had to sit down and edit together a video that they, had a lot riding on, that they had a lot of emotion. They had a lot of emotions put into a lot. Anything that they had a lot invested into. All right. They will tell you that yes, you end up sitting down and watching that video a few times. You play through the clips that you just put together and worked on. You play through each little clip. You play through the whole thing, the full video, several times, so many times. And you go back and change little things here and there, and then you play through it again. And you go, oh, one more little thing I want to change, and you change that, and you play through it again. This goes on and on. So he saw this video. The point I'm getting at here is Ze Frank saw this video. many times. In its entirety, he saw the final product before it was released on YouTube. Not just once, several times over. And for those of you who might be thinking like, oh, well, maybe he didn't notice that hidden frame in there. Yes, he effing did. Ze Frank, first of all, aside from being on the more intelligent side, he, even though he got a degree in neurolinguistic programming from Brown University, that's not exactly visual arts, although it can have something to do with visual arts. He did work, I believe I recall, he worked as a graphic designer for quite a while. He even is noted, he's given credit for helping to design a specific font that I can't recall the name of it now. Maybe I can bring it up. Document, no, desktop, Canva, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Chances are I'm not going to find it in the amount of time I would like to find it in order to show you guys. And I don't want this to take too long because I know people have short attention spans. But Ze Frank is credited with, well, we could just... File, new tab. Ze Frank, LinkedIn. He's credited with developing a font that was meant to be printed on keyboards. Elia Frames, there it is. Elia Frames font. File, new tab. Elia Frames font. And just to go back and read through this, in 2001 or so, Ze created the first ready-for-the-public Elia Frames font. Previously, no, I didn't mean to do that. Previously, the font lacked clean lines. We used that font for testing the Elia Frames alphabet. It is the basis for our subsequent fonts. He was incredibly adept and creative. It was a pleasure working with him. So Ze created in roughly 2001. So that's a good 11 years before this video was created, the projector video. And just to give you an idea of the font, there you go. You can see it there. Pictures of it. Point being, Ze Frank has a lot of training and experience in visual arts, in perfecting visuals. He also has a video in this series called, I believe it's in his video called Diaries. I'm not 100% certain, but I believe it's in Diaries here, where he shows an old diary of his. Let's go. Let's see if we can, no. Well, we'll just let it play through. He shows an old diary of his, and he shows old sketches from right after high school. Here we go. These are from his, or he's claiming these are from an old diary of his. These are old sketches of his. You can see here. So he's a fairly adept artist. He's good at sketching. He's good at design work. There you go. Point being, he understands. He has a trained eye. He's an eye trained for detail. I would know this because I am also a trained visual artist. I started taking lessons at age 4. I rolled over the art department in high school. I went to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. I also studied graphic design. I've also made videos. I know what it means to train your eye to details, to look for certain specific details, for any detail that might be a flaw, a problem, something that needs to be fixed, something needs to be removed. So again, right there you go. So I saw it with my naked eye. I'm sure most of you saw it. It's true that many of you maybe wouldn't have caught on to it if I hadn't pointed it out to you, but Ze Frank did and would have. He would have and he did, just like I did, because he and I both have trained visual eyes. We have the eyes of an artist. We pay attention on little things like that. So again, Ze Frank would have watched this video several times over before it was released onto YouTube. There is no way in HE double hockey sticks that he missed this frame popping up. He didn't miss it. He has a trained eye for detail. Again, look, see? He designed this or helped design it. A lot of little details, all right? He did not miss it. It was not a mistake. It was not a whoopsies. Let's just be very clear about that. Ze Frank meant to have this image inserted into that video. He knowingly published the video with this image hidden in the beginning of the video. Let's just be perfectly, very clear on this. He's a trained visual artist. He's trained, he has experience, he's worked in the industry, he has the eye for it, he knew what he was doing. It was not a whoopsies, it was not a mistake. Even if somebody else edited this video together, and even if this was accidentally left in there by someone else editing the video together, which I doubt very much. Like, why would they even have this image? Why? And it's not even just one picture. It's clearly they cropped together. You can even see here. See? This is not part of the same picture, right? These pictures were put next to each other, side by side, and turned into one picture. This is one picture that was then turned into another picture. It was quadrupled and messed with in several different colors to make this picture. And then it was paired with this picture of the little girl and turned into one picture. You see? I'm hoping that the video or the screen recording is picking up the movement of my mouse as I'm moving it around here. But you guys get what I'm saying, all right? This image was specifically put together. This is not just a random photo that was taken and was on someone's hard drive and they accidentally dumped into a video. No. This was a specific photo here. This was a specific photo here. Then this photo was opened in software and messed with and turned into this image here. And then these two images were put together to create this whole image. And then the video was inserted on purpose into, the image was inserted on purpose into this video. Right there. Let me show you again. Right there. Shall I put on repeat? Right there. Why? Why? Why would Ze Frank want to insert this image into his video? Why? Who is this little girl? Why did he feel the need to put a picture of her, hide a picture of her in his video? Why did he feel the need to put a picture of her next to a creepy looking guy here with a bandana covering his face? Why? So many questions. But you can bet, one of the biggest points of this video that I'm making for you guys, you can bet that this was all done on purpose. This was not a mistake. This was done on purpose. And it's not meant to be funny either. Not for anybody who's sane. Not for anybody who has morals and ethics and empathy. Anybody with good gut instincts and protective mothering instincts is going to look at this and go, this feels wrong. Something's off here. This is not right. Something's, ugh. I would not want a picture of my child or my nieces or any little girls I cared about. I would not want them to be here in this picture here with a creepy guy over here with his face covered by a bandana looking over at her. That would give me the creeps. This should give anybody with, a sense of decency the creeps to look at this. This is not a funny. All right? Have I made myself clear? I feel like there was something else I wanted to... Oh, yes. There's one other thing I wanted to point out here. Now, I have made other videos. I've made another video that's a montage. It's basically a video montage pointing out all the different... Well, not all of them, but a lot of them. It's not even all of them. It's already a lot in the montage. Pointing out throughout these videos and some of the videos in his previous series, The Show with Ze Frank, if you go and watch all these videos, there are so many little kids and young, like, so young kids, babies, toddlers, teens, and early 20-somethings. And mind you, when Ze Frank made this video, he was 40 years old. So all of these people, all these kids are like half his age or younger, much younger. So I made that montage, that little video montage, and I'll show you guys here. Should I show you? No, just go back. You can go to the channel. This is going to be posted on a couple different channels. So you can go to the channel that this is posted on, and you can see that you'll find the montage. It's there. Where it's basically Ze Frank likes, it should be titled Ze Frank Likes Kids a Little Too Much. And it's a montage I put together of a lot, not even all of them, but a lot of different clips of kids of varying ages, all the way up to people who should have been considered kids to Ze Frank, people in their early 20s. Because I'm 40 years old right now. I'm the same age now that Ze Frank was when he was making this series, right? And to me, kids, I just called them kids. People in their early 20s are kids, right? Kids, my first instinct is to call them kids. Kids in their early 20s are kids. They're kids. So these are all kids to Ze Frank. They were kids to him when he was making these videos. They should have been. He should have perceived them as being kids. So, the point being, Ze seems to have no problem showing all kinds of kids in his videos. And they're not hidden frames. The other kids were not hidden frames. You can see them. They're right out in the open. Some of them are opening reels for his videos. Some of them are closing reels for his videos. Babies, so on and so forth, as I've said. Why did he feel the need to hide the image of this particular kid, of this little girl? Why? Why is he okay with showing all those other kids, showing them openly, but he felt the need to hide this little girl? Something tells me it's possible that Ze Frank felt the need to hide this little girl because there's perhaps some way that she could be connected to him, or he could get in trouble somehow, some way, if this little girl could be found or tracked, if it could be figured out who she is. That's likely why he felt the need to hide a picture of her. One of the reasons. Another reason being, this is just par for the course when it comes to these kinds of people. Pedophiles, child abusers, serial killers. They're very egotistical. They're very narcissistic, and they love to flaunt the things that they've done in secret ways that they feel will go right over the heads of most people. They think that most people are stupid. The BTK killer, I made reference to this in a previous video. The BTK killer, the way he got caught was he wrote into the police and taunted them and goaded them. The newspapers had attributed some of his killings to another man, and his ego couldn't handle that. He couldn't handle another man being given credit for his murders. So he wrote in, I believe it was either to the police or to the news station. Either one doesn't matter. He wrote to them and, made fun of them and talked shit. And that's what eventually led to him getting caught. That's just one example of these kinds of people, cluster B personality disorder people, sociopaths and psychopaths who engage in this kind of behavior. Serial abuse, serial rape, serial murder. They like to sometimes flaunt in public what they've done. Another example would be serial killers sometimes will take trophies from their kills Or serial rapists even will take trophies from their victims, like a piece of jewelry. And then they'll go home and they'll give that piece of jewelry to their wife. And they love to watch their wife walk around wearing the piece of jewelry that came from a victim whom they raped and or killed. And knowing the wife has no clue what she's wearing. Seeing the wife's friends and their neighbors compliment the beautiful necklace or whatever it is. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Oh, you bought that for her? You're such a sweet man. You're such a good husband. And this gives the psychopath a little tingle all over, because this is evidence of his horrible, heinous crime right out there in the open, in public. And his wife or his daughter or her girlfriend is wearing it. Her friends are fondling it. They're touching it. They're complimenting her. They're complimenting him. They're saying, oh, good job. This is so great, which is exactly what's happening with these videos with Ze Frank. He's being told by God knows how many fans, like how great he is, how wonderful he is for these videos he's making that have these, secret hidden clips of a little girl in there that's very possibly somehow in some way a victim of his. Do you understand? That's why I think Ze Frank would have gone out of his way to hide this picture. He made it so we could see her, but only for a second, and most people wouldn't have noticed or fully registered it. Most people certainly wouldn't have gone out of their way to go back, get a screen recording of the video, and then isolate the frame so that they could see what was going on, like I did, because I already suspected this guy was sick. There was something going on here. He knows that pretty much everyone in his audience, unless it's somebody else from his little network of sickos, which is probably who this guy is, he knows pretty much everyone normal, quote unquote normal in his audience, they're either going to miss the hidden frame altogether, or at the very least, they're just going to forget about it by the end of the video, and they're certainly not going to go back and try to isolate the frame and look at it and see what it is. That's what he's banking on. But he still gets off on the fact that you all saw it. You all saw this little girl. You all saw this little girl being lumped in next to this creepy looking guy here wearing a bandana covering his face. You all saw it. He showed it to you. He's flashing evidence of something sinister right in your face. And it's going unnoticed, or was going unnoticed until right now. You understand, guys? I hope you're staying with me on this. So yeah, that's what I wanted to get that out of the way. And you know what? Let me just show you really quickly. Let me pull up right here. Play a little bit of this. We'll play a little bit. Ze Frank really likes kids. This is the montage that I put together, and I'm just going to zoom through it a little bit so you can see. There's a kid. There's a kid. There's a kid. There's a kid. 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 This is where I show the frame. Babies, 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 kids, kids, kids. Kids, strollers, empty strollers, weirdo. Kid, little kid, kid. Oh, let's see if we can go back on our, there, kid. Kid, these are like, now we're into like the teens and the early 20-somethings. Again, kids to a 40-year-old. I'm a 40-year-old, these are kids to me. Or at this age is a kid. Kid, 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 teens, teens, kids. Oh, kids. Look, a whole classroom of teens, little Asian girls, kids. Kids. So many kids in his videos. Kids. So, yeah, he's not shy of showing kids in his videos here. All his little videos down here, all right? Again, why hide this particular little girl? Why put her in a flash frame that just pops up suddenly and goes away just as suddenly within a span of less than a second? Why? This little girl I'm going to go ahead and guess is in some way linked to Ze Frank. Yeah. Anyway, I think I've said what I need to say for this video, and let's just leave it there.